NASA Lies 101. I'm sitting out here in my front yard to show this, and I don't really care what people think of me anymore. I can prove that NASA lies on so many different areas that you cannot debunk using your so-called science. If we were on a ball and our seasons depended upon the tilt of the earth away from the sun, your equator would change. It would not remain the same. Debunk that and show proof that they constructed a space station in space other than a CGI cartoon. This is how we did it. And that's how they show you that it's up there. Could you see a football field 200 miles away? No, you could not. The sun sets, right? No, it goes out of your perspective. And you have, if you're on a ball, you have never, ever, ever seen Mercury or Venus. In order to see them in the nighttime sky, as the earth is pointing toward the nighttime sky, they would have to be out here for the reflection of the so-called sun being 93 million miles away would reflect off of it. In the daytime, you couldn't see it because it's daytime. You can't see any stars or wandering planets, wandering stars, as the Bible says. And if that is a burning ball of gases 93 million miles away and a vacuum, think about that one, prove that one. How can it come through the clouds at angles? And you cannot fly from there to there. You can, on a flat earth, go across. And there's the curvature, 8 inches per square. We can see too far. And that is a SpaceX. If you look closely, you can see the water tower and the supposedly rocket they're sending off from out in the middle of a field. 2 different shadows. Robert Simmons. It's Photoshop, but it has to be the famous blue marble. He did it on a computer. He Photoshopped it. And if you're on the moon, and we only see one side of it, there would be impossible for the earth to rise or set from the moon's surface. Impossible. The only way you could see the earth, if you're standing on the moon, you'd have to look straight up over your head. You wouldn't even see the moon's surface. And it would have to look at least 4 to 6 times larger, according to their figures, than what you see the moon look like in the sky. And here's the other side. We'll call this part 2. The Nazi scientists, which I have different opinions on Nazis now. I'd love to find me a comrade to help me with these things from time to time. Oh, that's a bad word, comrade. But right here, you see, going back to the tilt and the equator changing, that none of us know exactly what the flat earth map would look like. But Antarctica is the ice wall, holding in all the water, holding in the continents. You're not going to fall off the edge of a flat earth. It's impossible. Because it's stationary, built on 4 pillars. And through a P900 or a P1000, that's what Mars would look like. Yeah, you believe there's a car out there in space? And how come you can only see the space station from time to time, every few days or every few weeks? They tell you can see it for 7 minutes over here in the northern sky. If it's traveling at 17,000 miles an hour going around this ball that's only 24,000 at the equator, you should see it every night. But that's just me. And that goes back to there's no way, no possible way that was shot from the surface of the moon. None. Zero. None. Prove it. You cannot, because you would have to look straight over your head. And as far as, well, Antarctic Treaty, which all the countries have signed, you cannot take a trip there unless it's a guided tour, and it's got to be approved by your so-called government to control your mind. Government shall not be moved, stationary. But I use these 3 scriptures. Genesis 1:16. And he created 2 lights, one to rule the day and one to rule the night. Put them in the firmament. That's in the first chapter of Genesis. In creation. Now, in order to find out what the stars are, because nowhere in the Bible does it tell you what the stars are, that I could ever find, read Revelations 12:4. Speaking of the dragon, after the war in heaven, his tail drew a third part of the stars of heaven and did cast them to earth. If you read on down, then this is the only place that you will find it connects to those other 2 verses. Revelations 12:9. And the great dragon was cast out, the old serpent called the devil, the Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast down to the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. He was cast down, drew a third part of the stars. Celestial bodies billions of light years away. Come on. Use your mind, people. And us flat earthers, we're the crazy ones. You think something billions of light years away is going to come down and hit this little ball if you believe in the Bible? No. It's the fallen angels. That's why they want to have a fake alien invasion. They don't want you believing in God. If through all the chemicals that they've put in the atmosphere, through their chemtrails, they can project just about any image they want to up right up there in the sky, because they've coated the dome. That's just my opinion. There is absolutely, I heard this term 7 years ago, flat earth. I thought it was the dumbest thing I ever heard. Dumbest thing I ever heard. I set out to prove I lived on a ball. And the more I look, the more I try to find proof of a ball, the more I realize it's all a lie from the devil, from the serpent that has been cast down with his falling angels to deceive the world, to take God out of the equation and fake an alien invasion, the fallen angels, the demonic realm. There is no proof, none that I can find, that we live on a ball. Oh, your magic gravity, right? Stick your gravity where the sun don't shine down the road.